welcome back to the D4 channel. Excuse me. Excuse my jank glasses. I broke them, so that's why if you can see, duct tape. But welcome back to the D4 channel. And just like my glasses, these last two episodes of the Acolyte have been a little jank. But that's okay. Just a little bit. But we're here to talk about episodes 3, Destiny, and episode 4, Day. I didn't want to talk about Destiny. That's last week's episode. Because my other half wasn't feeling too great.
Sorry.
But that's okay. Don't apologize. but I didn't want to talk about the episode without her. I tried many times to talk about it by myself, but none of the words are coming out right. So I figured let's have the better version of myself be here for that. So we're gonna talk about 2 episodes today, episodes 3 and 4 of the Acolyte. But before we get to that, what do they gotta do, D4?
You gotta like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, or you'll get force choked.
You will get force choked and force pushed by the Acolyte if you do not follow her instructions. So do all that because we are great, and I know you guys are digging it too. And hopefully you guys are digging the Acolyte, or maybe not, because
it seems the internet is mixed about this.
The internet is in a civil war about the Acolyte, specifically these 2 episodes. And so we're going to talk about that. So if you haven't seen episode 3, which you probably did because it's been a week.
You definitely did. And if you didn't, you got spoiled for it already.
So if you haven't seen episode 3, Destiny, or episode 4, Day of the Acolyte, leave now because this is a spoiler review. Now, D4, we're not going to talk about 3 too long because obviously 4 is the episode of the
short recap got it.
Pretty much. I just kind of want to vent about this episode, and I'm glad I watched channels like Star Wars Explained and Force Center because they kind of like talked me off the ledge of my initial. I'm so frustrated about the episode. I watched it like 3 times to see if I feel any differently. I still don't.
Okay,
but
even hearing other people talk about it.
Correct. But I also hear a lot of their opinions about. I'm going to reserve my full judgment on that specific episode when the whole show is finished.
Yeah.
Because everything in that episode could make more sense once the show is finished.
Listen, they have their opportunity to make it better. We'll see how it goes.
Because basically this episode was a whole flashback. And it was about May and I keep forgetting Osha, yeah, May and Osha. It's about them on their planet Brendok when the 4 Jedi, including Master Soul, they're all there. And we see the culture of their witches. These witches practice the Force, which is, they call the Force threads, which I saw people specifically against Star Wars Theory. And this is the first time I actually agreed with Star Wars Theory and a lot of his gripes about the episode. But the one thing I don't know why he said it was like Lucasfilm was trying to redefine the Force. Yeah. I'm like, no, every Force culture have a different way of viewing the Force, and these are just the witches' view.
It's just a religion.
It's just a religion.
Religions have different ways of seeing things.
Exactly. So he was basically saying, well, this is how they want us to see the Force. And I'm like, no, dummy. This is just the culture of these witches. Like, they see it as threats. Yeah, come on, buddy. So I like the way, I actually do like the witches. I like their culture. And everyone up in arms about, like, some people are against that the mother Onicia and Coral were lesbians. I didn't care about that.
That is not an issue whatsoever.
That is not an issue. My problem with that was that because obviously, the anatomy of 2 women, they can't have children the organic way. Mm-hmm. So instead of adopting children or having a donor, they say they created the twins. And as Star Wars Explained did say, maybe it's through more scientific methods than anything, but it's heavily implied.
There's no way it was scientific methods.
Correct, especially with a culture of Force users.
I mean, No, they're witches. At most, it's gonna be like, it has to be the Force. Like,
correct. And
the Force is like magic.
exactly. And we all know, and this is my problem, is Anakin was supposed to be the only child created by the Force itself in response to if Plagueis and Palpatine were doing something.
He's a child, not a twin, you feel me?
Who, Anakin?
Yeah.
They made not one, but two.
He said the first child, not the first twin.
Listen, it's still whack. I don't like the way
tomato.
Yeah. Like and I get it. It couldn't. Anakin was just by the Force, whereas these two were two specific Force users making children from either straight from the Force or a mixture of the Force and genetic, whatever they did.
Force and witchery.
Maybe. So it could still kind of make Anakin special because only the Force created him, whereas they were. But it's still like it's still, if they could do it, how come the Jedi and the Sith couldn't make their own Force-sensitive children?
Well, that's what I hope they will explain.
Correct. And they even make a little comment in the episodes like, if the Jedi find out how you made these people, then we'd be in big trouble. So that heavily implies they made them through the Force, which...
we gotta see how they were able to even figure that out, because...
Right? A whole thousands of generations of Sith Lords and Jedi probably were trying to figure out how to do that, especially the Sith. They couldn't, and these cultural witches were able to figure. So that
something in the blood, I don't know.
That drove me insane because it's like George Lucas clearly said Anakin was the first, and even you made a good point. If this was in the future where it happened again, fine, because you could at least say Anakin was the first person to be made of the Force. But because it's happened 100 years before even Anakin was conceived, then it kind of makes Anakin a little less special. So that's one of my gripes with that episode 3. Another one was that the Jedi come off like a bunch of pedophile.
Yeah, they were kind of white van candy givers.
Yes. How you gonna... First of all, we didn't know this planet was inhabited. Like,
that is so rude. They literally came into it has bricks in this damn place. You telling me the bricks are natural to this area?
That's what I'm saying. I thought there was like two people
in an archway.
Is that? Oh, that just formed naturally.
There is natural form like arcs. And
I
stuff,
guess so, but like you could
not out of bricks.
And there's cities of people walking. It's not just like two people on the planet. There's like a bunch of people walking around.
There's light. They were chanting. I'm pretty sure it was loud. The power one, the power two,
the power of many. Well, first of all, that chant was rocking. The power of one. The power of two, the power of many. Like, and they're doing that. Listen, I love the witches. People who had the problem with the witches weren't the problem.
No, the witches were great.
The witches were great. It was everything around the witches themselves that were like unhinged. And the Jedi were one of them. First of all, they come in. The witches say they sliced through the door, so that means they came in clearly without permission.
Correct.
And they're like, we know you have children here.
Which they're too old. Why are they here?
They're both 8 years old, and Anakin was not. They're not supposed to get these children when they're already sentient and have attachments. Like that is generally the only reason you would get children that age, if they're orphans and they have nowhere to go.
Correct. And they have two moms and a bunch of moms.
A bunch of moms.
A bunch of supportive moms.
Correct. And they all said, we don't want you to take our children. And then Master Undara, the one that got killed in the first episode, was like, we have a right to train Force-sensitive children. I'm like, yes.
You have the right to listen to the parents.
Correct. And the fact that they're like, well, we want the children to make their own decisions. I'm like...
First of all, no. That was never a thing. Since when was that a thing?
That's an 8-year-old. So if an 8-year-old in real life told you, Mom, I want to go drive the car to the grocery store, you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to listen to what you have to say.
So what, like, they asked the baby what you want?
Yeah, what do you want, infant? Do you want to come to...
I think that's a yes.
I'm like, Jedi, it doesn't matter what even if Osha wants to be a Jedi, if the mama says no, get up out of there. Because no matter what, that's their mama. You cannot come in there and be like, when she's doing the whole test, like, did someone tell you to lie on this test? She's like, What do you want? I want to be a Jedi. You have to have the courage to say what you want. I'm like, it doesn't matter what
That
she
is
wants.
some red flag pedo behavior right
Yes,
there.
I really, I think out of everything, that's what did me dirty the most in this episode. I really hated how the Jedi came out in this episode. It sucked.
If they did a good job of showing them in a not good light.
Right? And Star Wars Explained and some other podcasts, they didn't make a good point. Maybe we're seeing that flashback from the witch's points of view, which will be skewed, obviously. But I really think that's exactly what happened. We're probably going to see more of what happens to the witches when the whole place gets caught on fire, because they clearly did not die from
bricks
fire.
on fire.
Which is another thing
They
I didn't
must have
realize.
not used those good bricks.
No, they did. I didn't even realize that until people mentioned that.
I guess the witches were not meant for building or something.
No, clearly not.
They used the wrong bricks.
So you tell me they can make 2 sentient children, but they couldn't make a house?
Wrong bricks. They used the wooden bricks.
That's ridiculous. Also, May and Osha. I did like the 2 girls that played May and Osha in these episodes. I thought they were very good actors. Like, everyone in the episode themselves, like, individually, they acted very great. And I love that May's kind of a psychopath, even at 8.
She was. I wonder what was the reasoning behind naming her Osha, because every time I hear Osha, I think of
the people that keep like companies like in line. Yeah, I don't know.
Like, that confuses me. I wonder if that has a meaning or something.
You know, maybe it's supposed to mean that
I thought it was Osa, but it's Osha, right?
Yeah, Osha. Maybe she's supposed to keep May in line. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe Osha just means like to protect her.
To protect her, yeah, because. Yeah, those 2 names, especially May is like a normal, like,
May.
Human name. So, like, it's funny that Star Wars does have regular names sometimes here and there, and they gave those two Force sensitive girls 2 very earthly type of names. And they're 2 different children, because one is like, I want to be a witch, and the other one's like, I don't want to be a witch. Even the whole ceremony, she's like, will you basically follow my footsteps and be a witch? She's like, sure. And I was like, stop the ceremony.
Maybe
right
she
there.
wouldn't have left if you guys didn't force her to be something she didn't want to be.
Literally, yeah, that's the only thing I didn't like about the witches. Like, clearly, this one daughter did not want to be a witch.
I know y'all are obsessed with the power too, but calm down.
Calm down. Like, make her let her own decisions. Like, even though the Jedi were wrong, and I still agree with you of not wanting the Jedi to take your child, that's fine. Yeah. But she didn't want to become a witch. So maybe you could have like, well, maybe we'll find something else for you to do.
Witch adjacent.
Yeah, witch adjacent.
Maybe she could learn how to, do some construction so they don't use wooden bricks. I don't know.
Osha, you are not responsible for building our homes because
I trust in Osha. She will protect us.
I trust in Osha too, because I don't know what they were doing. May wasn't protecting them because she sets the fire. And again, they also made a good point. We see May light the book on fire, but then it cuts away from May, and then the fire just starts. So we don't know if May actually started the fire, or we don't exactly know what's happened. But when I rewatched the episode, I did realize that Torben, the master that drunk the poison, and he was a Padawan in the flashback, at the end of the episode, after everything happens and everything blows up, he has the scars on his face. Yeah. And so people were saying, either the Jedi or Mother Coral, the Zabrak with the horn, started a fight with the Jedi, possessed the Wookiee or him. They fought, and the Wookiee scarred him. And in Wookiee culture, it's frowned upon to use their claws. So that's probably why Kanaka is in the Force, because he's like, I betrayed my Wookiee. So
he has to drink the poison next.
Well, we know what happens to him next in episode 4. So let's get to episode 4 day. So after that crazy episode where a lot of things I didn't vibe. Leslie Headland, this is why I think we need to take the approach of hiring the people like Andor who don't know nothing or care anything about Star Wars. Have them write it, and then have Lucasfilm, the story group, all the nerds in the background, add the Star Wars element.
Add the Star Wars in it.
Because Leslie Headland is a big Star Wars fan. That's what she says. But, like, the writing in this show sometimes feels...
It's a little... or a little...
Yeah, like, because like one thing I love about Andor because Andor has like maybe 3-4 banger speeches when you're watching the episodes, you're like locked in.
Yeah.
It was the One Way Out episode when you give him that speech, when the mom is giving the speech at the funeral, when what's his name gave that speech to the ISB agent when they're in that corridor. Like there's so many like where you like locked in, where I want that. But with all the all the background and stuff in this show are it feels like Star Wars.
It does feel like Star Wars, that's for sure.
Right, but it's mature's not the right word, because Star Wars is for kids. Like the original trilogies and the sequels were for kids, but they also had mature writing. So I'm not gonna say it's mature. It's
had a good mix.
Right. It feels like but saying a fan film also sounds disrespectful. I don't know what to call it. It's like
it just could have been worked on more.
Yes.
It could have been worked on more.
Like for like we were saying, episode 4, 35-minute episodes, but it's really like 27 minutes because the intro takes like 2 minutes and the credits. Yeah. So it's really like 27-minute episode. And you were talking about them showing like a 2-minute training sequence with the Padawans.
Yeah, we did not need to see that. We did not need to see that.
We cut all that fluff. Because if you're going to do that, make these episodes 45 minutes, 50-minute episodes.
If you're going to make it shorter, you have to cut the fluff out. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Or you make it longer.
Or you make it long, which I really wish they would make it longer, because like on Netflix, all their shows are like 50 minutes to an hour. Stranger Things, each episode's an hour.
Yeah.
Especially
all those things nowadays are like 50 minutes an hour.
Correct, because they don't have the restraints of being on network television. We have to show commercials every so often. Mm-hmm. So I think Disney forgets you can make this however long you want. You have the
budget to do that, by the way. Disney.
180 mil.
You have the budget.
And someone mentioned this as well. In Andor, because they shot on location, they shot in Ireland, all these places, it felt big. And this series feels claustrophobic. Like, it does. Like they were filmed on the volume. And Mandalorian is probably the only show that used the volume well, where like you don't feel that claustrophobia. But Obi-Wan felt claustrophobic. Like
I did.
Yeah, like you could tell like they could only fit so many people on the set. And Ahsoka not so much so, but it felt a little bit.
Yeah.
And in this show, especially in episode 3 with the witches, like I could tell like they're on the volume when they're doing that whole thing. Like it feels small.
Yeah, they're literally all clustered together like this.
Yeah, and I'm like, if you're gonna spend 180 million, which is like triple the budget of like Godzilla -1, which that film was amazing, both story-wise and all the special effects and practical effects, this show gotta feel grander. When you're talking about the Jedi from the High Republic, when you read those books, D4, the way they say it's grand. It's a big old stuff happening. Yeah, and so I don't know why, like some of the choices they make of where they film it or how they do it.
Yeah,
like,
everyone just feels so clustered.
Yeah, and
everyone always feels like they're
in a little box, and I don't like this episode. Again, they should have cut out the fluff of the Padawan's training, and then, like you said, Osha and Soul's Padawan, they didn't really have like a
like they talked and they had a bonding moment, but the way they talked was like they had more bonding moments than it actually was.
Right.
Like, they're like talking like they homies, like they the best of friends.
Like they were like, I'm sad to see you leave, and I'm like, you guys barely know each other like that. Like, the only common connection you have is you both had Master Soul as your master.
It looked like she cared more about her than May. Like,
yeah.
Because it was like, with her, he's like, I'm going to miss you. You're going to miss me, aren't you? And then it's like, May, she's like, whatever. Yeah. She's a murderer. I don't care.
Yeah. I was
like, you just met this girl and you treating her like your sister. I mean, no, your sister's a murderer. True.
Correct. You are correct about that.
But, like, you still cared a lot about her.
So, and again, that's the writing and the choices. We never saw them bond. We never saw any looks, but they seem very close. So I'm like, okay, fine. And again, this is the High Republic. We know Master Yoda is here in this time. He should be on the High
It's
Council.
crazy that this is the High Republic. It just feels like the Republic. You feel me?
It literally just feels like
This
the
don't
Republic.
feel like no High Republic. Everyone looked depressed.
Everyone's depressed. They out here talking. Vanessa with her low-level council talking about our political enemies, but they get wind of what we're doing here. It could. I'm like,
how is this the High Republic? Does this not just feel like we're just back? We're in the future.
Correct. Like we're in the prequels. And
it literally just feels like we're in the prequels, but this is supposed to be the gold. It's supposed to be golden right now
for both the Jedi and the High. That's another thing I don't like. We are exploring nothing about the actual Republic.
Gosh, yes.
We have not seen a scene of any of the senators. We have not seen a scene of if they even, because in the High Republic they have 2 chancellors. We don't even know if they still have 2 chancellors running the show versus 1 now. We don't know what's like the way they talk about the Republic makes them seem like they're the prequel Republic.
Yeah, which they're supposed to be way different.
They're supposed to be way like the Republic. Like the thing about the High Republic, the Republic and the Jedi, they're both at their height in terms of their life and helping people philosophy. Like the Republic and the Jedi are both extremely good. Like they want to do extremely good things, and the Republic seem like they're already corrupted and jank like they were in the prequels, and the Jedi are right along toe with them.
This is supposed to be where they're like the free, religious running around people, but
yes,
it still looks like they're tied in politics, which I don't understand.
It's like, annoying.
It's like this feels like it was written for the wrong era of Star Wars.
Correct. Like if you written this for episodes in between episodes 1, 2, and 3, I believe it.
Yeah.
But for me to believe just because they're wearing gold robes and white capes, I don't believe none of these Jedi. It's
not gold, it's yellow.
Yellow, yeah.
Yellow's still good, but it's not gold.
It's not.
They say gold. It's not gold.
It's not gold. They call it the gold robes, but yeah, you're right. Yeah, the yellow robes and stuff. I don't believe any of these people are the High Republic Jedi. Even I get Vanessa's. I mean, she was a stickler for the rules even when she was 16, but she was more understandable and flexible. But obviously, 100 years would change anybody. Fine, but like to say we're gonna keep this a secret if we tell the High Council, they're obligated to tell it to the Republic, to the senators, which is an excuse for us not to see people like Master Yoda and I can't remember the long swirly, like that's an excuse not to see them because we know they're there. They're there.
Too much budget. Sorry.
That you could do that so much better than just be like, oh, they have to report to the Republic. Which if they're still in the High Republic, the Jedi don't have to report to the Republic.
They don't.
They have their own internal affairs. Hell, in the prequels, some stuff happens and they don't report to the Chancellor because they're like, this is a Jedi affair. The Chancellor can stay out of it.
Exactly.
This is a Jedi affair.
What's going on?
So that was.
This ain't the High Republic.
This is not the High Republic. This is the Low Republic.
Yeah, because it seems even more depressing than what we saw.
Right? Because I'm like, how are there more of you and you all seem depressed, even though technically there's no war, there's no Clone Wars, there's no.
There might as well have been.
I think they look. I think they needed some Clone Wars because, like, even Yord, which people love Yord on the internet, he is so like. Gotta follow the rules. Gotta do this. I'm a Jedi and I know what to do. I'm like, okay, I know that's his personality, but bro, like, how you gonna be around some of these very extroverted, like different Jedi and go be like, this is what I need to be. I'm like, I have not read one Jedi in the books that are like Yord because they're also free spirited. They
bro, everyone seems robotic. I don't see no free. In here. Even no one seems free here.
Nope, nobody's free. Even the background Jedi they added for that little trip.
All the background trip.
I'm like, these are the heroes of the Republic.
This is what freedom is?
I said I don't want their freedom. I agree.
What a lie.
Peace is a lie.
So is freedom.
So is freedom. And May talk about freedom. She
yippee! That was her. That was May.
Is that after she betrays Quinn or before?
Before who shows up.
Yeah, which listen, my number one suspect for that Sith in the mask is Quinn, the Asian guy.
He's silly.
Oh, he's definitely silly. He's
what a silly little lad.
He's so silly. I know. I could even the shot when the Zith, which I thought was cool, but he was blurred out. But you saw him like floating down. Even the way he walked up to Osha, it was the same walk and kind of head tilt that Quinn did in episode 2 when he's like, "You look just like her." Like after people were like speculating that he was the Zith, I'm watching all their cadences. I'm like, that walk was exactly like the walk he did.
I didn't know it.
Yeah, so I'm like, there is a 95% chance that plus May and him both went on the planet, and after May had the epiphany, she's like, "Wait a minute, I don't have to kill the giant when my sister's alive. Screw the Zith. I'm gonna turn myself in and explain myself, and they won't arrest me." And then he heard all that, so he probably was like, okay. So as soon as he left, he probably cut himself from that rope and said, "I'm about to take this woman out because she out here, she not following with exactly what I told her to do, and so now I'm about to fix this problem."
It always be the goof gaps, guys.
Look at Palpatine. Oh, a little senator. I'll watch it.
Right?
The old sweet old man that you would never think. And then once he turned that Zith and started shooting lightning, you're like, who the hell is this guy? So I know that is the apprentice. I think that guy is the apprentice of the actual Sith Lord. Like I think he's the Dooku to whoever his Palpatine is. So I could be wrong. He could be the main Sith, but like I find the main head honcho Sith Lord not gonna be running around.
Yeah, there's no way they're not being extra like that.
Right, exactly. He kills Kanaka, which it sucks. Again, this show, the trailer did a disservice because I
should have drank the poison.
The Wookiee.
Yeah, he should have drank the poison.
I thought he had more to do. He got killed in his chair.
Bro, he got killed off screen. Like, at that point, it would have been better for him to just drink poison, because, like...
Mm-hmm. What are you doing?
At least he did that.
We never... I mean, I know the trailers show him fighting, so we're going to have another episode of a flashback.
Oh, so they're going to do a flashback.
Yeah, because in the trailer, he's fighting, I think, Torben, the one who drank the poison. Mm-hmm. So they're going to have a flashback of the other side of what happened when the witches died.
This is a little wackadoodle, you feel me?
Mm-hmm.
This is a little wacky.
Which, again, all of that should have been done in episode 3. All the flashbacks should have been, that episode should have been an hour and change, and it should have showed everything. So we don't have to go and revisit that scene again. Because now this Wookiee is dead. We don't even get to see him in action, which sucks. Like, we never see Wookiee Jedi really ever, except for the Clone Wars.
Yeah, that was a weird choice to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it sure was a shock, that's for sure.
Right, like the way they executed was good, but I'm just thinking about the actor Swantamo, because he plays Chewbacca in the new Star Wars new sequel trilogy, mm-hmm. and he wanted to be a Jedi. I'm like, why didn't you have him? I mean, I know we'll see him fight in the past, right? But yeah, the same thing as having Trinity die in the first episode. A lot of people were disappointed that actress died in the first episode.
Well, it seems like what they're gonna do here is just immediately kill people, you know?
But don't kill the people who should have more screen time. Give them more to do in the because now they're all in the flashback. That's what we're gonna see them do their most shit in the flashback.
Yes, because it's so weird. It's like feels like they got killed so quickly.
Right.
It's like, okay, this is your mission. And it's like, all right, first episode, we got it down. Okay, you drink the poison. All right. Hey, you got slashed.
And we don't get to bond with any of them. So when they die, it's just like, oh, they're dead.
Because I'm like, where's the bond?
Right.
Where's like, we don't have to like them. But
correct.
Like, we should have some sort of, you know,
understand whether we hate them or we love them. We should feel something out right when they die. But when they die, I'm just like, oh, the Wookiee's dead.
It's like there's no emotional impact to it. It's like,
no.
Oh, the Trinity girl died. Who cares?
All right, cool.
Nice fight though.
Like,
but
all right.
You drank poison. Why the hell you did that? Well, you'll show us, but we gotta wait like a few more episodes, you know, for you to show us.
Oh my,
okay, see, Wookiee guy dead. Okay.
And again, that's the writing. You got because this is not a whodunit show. This is a why we did it, and And this is where I agree with our off cameraman tape, because he was complaining about the first 2 episodes about
Yeah.
they should have showed like the beginning first. Now I agree with him, because when you're gonna go on this murder hunt for these,
my stomach is wrong.
yeah,
Wait, I'm sorry.
Your stomach is not like
Oh
these
my
episodes.
God.
Your stomach did not like these few episodes either. Like, let me know, let me care about these Jedi. I don't care anything about the only one I care about is Master Soul, and that's because he's actually doing something in the present day, and his smile is infectious. He's the only one I care about.
Yeah, he's literally, that's it.
He's the only one I care about.
Which is not very good that we have all these characters and we're not tied to like any of them.
Nope.
I feel like we should at least be tied to like Osha. She's our
main protagonist, and I like her in the sense that she's good and she just wants to do the right thing, and she just wants to live her life. But like beyond that, I'm not really, because even like after we see the whole thing about I want to be a Jedi, and then for some reason she left the order.
Yep.
But then when Master Soul tells her to come on this mission, she's like, "Oh, you want me to be a Jedi again?" And he's like, "Oh no, you just want me to come along with you because you want me to get May." And I'm like, "Well, if you want to be a Jedi, why the hell did you leave?"
Did it explain why she left? Okay.
Nope.
No. So that's another thing we gotta wait for. So,
if they even really touch on that.
Which if they don't, trash.
That's ridiculous. So you can't have me showing that when a kid, she really wanted to be a Jedi, and then for some reason she just left. And plus, if it's a higher, like Ahsoka had a good reason, because the Jedi.
Yeah, Ahsoka had a grand reason.
Exactly. Like she got framed, the Jedi did not back her. Fine, she had every right to leave. Or even in that era, people leave the order because, they were basically soldiers and not peacekeepers. That's understandable.
She's gonna say, I didn't have freedom.
I'm like, you're a Jedi. You have all the freedom, and especially in the High Republic, you have all the freedom in the world.
Are you sure about that one?
I mean, they're supposed to.
Yeah, I know.
They literally could choose whatever they like. In a lot of the books, a lot of Jedi is like, I want to be a way seeker, which is basically they go out by themselves, listening to the ways of the Force, or they want to be teeth. They have the freedom to do whatever they want. So she can't say I would join the order and I had no freedom. So
well, I don't know, but there was some reason to it.
So we don't know that. And again, I feel like they for the mission that they went on Kafar, the Jedi, they got the bargain bin Jedi. Like if you saw some of those Jedi in the background, like these people are Jedi.
You can at least give a little personality to them.
None of them.
They were like rocks.
Straight rocks walking around. It's funny you mentioned that. There's literally a walking like rock brick called Geode.
Well, see, I was right.
It's a sentient rock. It doesn't say words, but it has so much personality in the books. It's literally just like the blocks in Mario that go that.
Thorns were.
Yeah, like those is literally he's literally like that, but without like the face on the. Yeah, that's literally him, and he has more personality than some of these Jedi. I'm like, that's ridiculous, because when they all get wiped, because we saw in the end when that Ziz showed up and he about to kill I'm not about to care about nobody who died.
Bro, it feels like they're being treated as a way to just shock value people getting hurt, people getting sliced,
showing how strong the Sith is,
but not the characters that mattered though.
No,
but see, there is violence.
The only one I think who's gonna die is maybe Yord. If they're gonna kill anybody relatively important, it's gonna be Yord.
And if Yord die, I'm gonna be like, damn.
Which is the internet will be on fire because people actually like Yord, ironically.
I don't know what it is they like, but good for them.
I think because the internet is attracted to because he's such a tool. Like the internet ironically adopted him. I don't know why. The internet likes to adopt those characters like you shouldn't love, but they love him because of the irony or something like that.
I don't get it, but I'm glad y'all love something.
Yeah, so I know y'all loving Yord, and I'm only gonna love him if he has a character arc of him being stingy, and then he becomes more likable.
I need a good character arc right now.
From somebody.
Please, I want one person, please.
That's a thing that, again, Leslie Headland, I don't care how big a Star Wars fan is, and I don't really know exactly her previous works, But in any show that you do, no matter what you write, in order for me to be invested in any show, I must love the characters.
Come on.
Even if I don't agree with the decisions, I have to have whether it's positive or negative, I have to have a very visceral feeling for a character, like Death Note. I didn't like Light Yagami because he was such a bastard, I was so invested in what he was doing.
Like, man, I hate this guy. This guy really should get punished, but like every time he's about to get caught, I'm like, no.
You're like, oh, how you gonna escape? Get out!
I'm like, bro, you better get out of this. I'm like, oh, I'm rooting for the op.
Right, exactly. Like I gotta feel something for the people I'm following.
I love L, but I'm like, damn, L, stop being so good.
I'm like, stop being so good, but at the same time, I'm like, come on, L, let's win. Like, you gotta have
such a good anime.
I know, it's such a great anime. Like, so, as something like Attack on Titan, you like certain characters. You love Eren at the beginning, or you hate Eren at the end. Like, you have some kind of very strong reaction that makes you want to watch the episode.
No one said the character you have to love, but at least create some sort of feeling.
I literally,
most of these characters I have no feeling towards. Even my stomach agreed.
Her stomach is like, I have no feeling towards these people. And it's funny, maybe because we feel about the characters how the Jedi feel as a entity right now.
Yeah.
Void of emotion.
Like, they shouldn't be like that right now, right?
No, they should not. This whole series, the whole point, or that's what they sold us on. We're supposed to see the reason why they become like they are in the prequels. So they're supposed to start off like how they are in the books, and I don't see the reason.
I see how. Like,
you just see how.
I just see it.
You just see them being prequel Jedi.
There's no reason. It is just it.
That's my problem. They're supposed to be the swashbuckling, free-spirited Jedi, and then we slowly see through whatever these murder events are why they become so rigid. But they're already rigid from the jump, besides Master Soul, who seems to have, pun intended, a soul to him.
I see no transition here. So I don't know what's going on.
And again, another problem people, even Star Wars Explained, had this problem with these episodes. They end very abruptly.
Yeah, I hate it. It would be like, I'm like finally waking up. Because it's like just so slow, which slow is fine. Andor was like very slow in many times, but they did it in a good way.
Right.
This is slow and I kind of, okay, all right, I see.
Let's get to the fun part.
We can speed this up a little bit.
Right, let's get to
and then when we finally get to the juicy moments, it's done.
Like episode 1 cut when May was on, I think Octo, and the Sith guy was giving his speech. Light his lightsaber ended there. Episode 2, it ended. I think when May escaped the planet abruptly. Episode 3, after the fire, that probably had the most complete ending because it ended with May looking at the tree she used to find her sister.
Yeah, which is a good way.
Which is a good way to end it. This one, as soon as this force pushing me, like, oh, it's finished.
That is such a bad way to end an episode.
So I gotta wait a whole week to see this man kick ass.
Like, you should have just ended when he landed on the floor.
Correct!
At least that would have been better.
That would have been better. You're like, oh, what's going on?
We don't know what's gonna happen next. He about to stab Osha? Is May about to run out?
Right.
Or like, you don't do the action. You do the before the action.
Correct. Keep me in suspense. Because now we saw him fling Osha and push the Jedi. And like, we're like, as soon as we're ready to go, like, woo, the episode ends. I'm like,
don't lure me in like that. Don't do that.
What's the decision of that? Either put 2 episodes, because they did it with a Bad Batch when 2 episodes needed to be back to back for you to have the complete story. Either put 2 episodes or make the episode 50 minutes. Show us the end result of that.
If it was just 50 minutes, it would have at least been a little bit better with an ending.
Correct. But you just ended at that. So I'm like, now I gotta wait a whole week to see this man kick all their butts.
Lucas, it ain't the worst, but it could have been done so much better.
It could have been done so much better. And like, listen, as I say before, Star Wars is like my child. I love all my children. Some a little less than the others.
Yeah.
But I love them all, compassionately. This show especially knowing the person behind it, where like I don't think she really gets, even though I don't doubt that she's a fan of Star Wars, but I don't really think she really gets Star Wars, and that's one thing me and Star Wars do agree on. I don't think she really gets Star Wars, and even if she gets Star Wars, I don't think you get how to write, because the problem people have with Star Wars, and even I have this problem when I'm writing my fan film, you try to make it so much of Star Wars,
Yeah.
that you forget to just make a good story first.
Yeah, I think honestly, it's just like we you just gotta take the Andor approach. Just make a story first, and then make it Star Wars after.
Correct, because in the Mandalorian, this is why the Mandalorian was so great, because they made the Mandalorian not an homage to Star Wars. They made the Mandalorian an homage to everything that made Star Wars, because George Lucas loved the Kurosawa films. He loved Flash Gordon as a kid, so they made the Mandalorian as an homage to the stuff that George Lucas liked, not just Star Wars itself, which is the problem the sequels had. They were doing an homage to Star Wars when they should have done an homage to everything that made Star Wars Star Wars.
They really needed to focus on the story first.
Correct.
Then the Star Wars after. But they clearly did the opposite.
They did the opposite. So I don't I know Lucasfilm is listening to the people. They need to, and clearly Andor is the only thing I could see that unifies the fandom, because I don't really see anybody hating.
I see some people say they don't like Andor, but they never go.
And the only reason they hate Andor
killing
is because it's not Star Wars enough.
Yeah, that was like the only thing, was just like,
right.
They sprinkled aliens in, but like they didn't make them.
Right, like it seemed like they were the parts they had aliens. They seemed like they were forced to do it.
Like it felt like they were just dropped in there the last 5 minutes.
Right, and that's the only because no one says Andor's a bad writing. No one says Andor has, because you care about everybody. Hell, even the scenes with Mon Mothma, like those are some intense scenes, and she's not even fighting. She's just dealing with scumbags.
Those Mon Mothma scenes were so good. It's a shame what she became afterwards.
Correct, but in the time, like
at the time, God, I was rooting for her
yes,
so much.
So. You have to capture, and I know George Lucas keeps saying like Star Wars is for 12-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
I get that, and so all the creators starting to make it, but the problem is they try to make it so much for 12-year-olds. They forget that even though George Lucas says that, the episodes 4, 5, and 6, he says that, but it's fully for adults. The Clone Wars, a lot of the episodes, especially later on in the seasons, those are some deep and dark episodes. Yeah. It's for kids, but an adult could fully watch those episodes and be okay with it.
This ain't a kid show.
Right. You gotta write it smartly. Like, they're writing it like we're dummies.
You gotta remember who's giving you the most money here.
The adults.
Mm-hmm.
And the adults are the people who really have the attachment like that to Star Wars. So you gotta write to them, still keep the fun elements of it, but yeah, you have to write more mature, and I think it's time for a Star Wars. Like, this is where I agree with Kylo Ren. Let the past die.
Saying their own words.
Yeah, let the past die, because they're so beholden to the past and George Lucas words to the point where like they're miscuing what he really meant. Write a very mature Star Wars. Keep the fun elements of Star Wars, like the characters having fun, the actions being fun. But make it mature like
Star Wars was just Andor. It just needed more Star Wars.
It just needed more Star Wars in. So literally, take what Andor did, but add more Star Wars in it. Because once you do that,
the kids can actually pay attention. Because I know for Andor,
right, and that's the problem. Kids,
they were like,
kids did not enjoy Andor because they're like,
no, those kids spacing out. They were googling out
because there's nothing cool. There are no goofy aliens.
Andor
or nice
is not for the kids.
It's
unless you have that one child who's like,
just like loves Star Wars in general. And like, I'm gonna eat everything up. And I guess Mandalorian would be the closest thing to that formula, because I mean, it kind of lost weight just a little bit in the later seasons, but first and second season, and Mandalorian had that like good writing, good story. I think it was formatted better for television, and because each episode ends like you're satisfied, but you want to see more. But it had all the fun elements of Star Wars. It had Grogu, it had blaster fights, it had sabers, it had giant creatures. So what Mandalorian did for season 1 and 2, do that, but with the Jedi. That's all you gotta do. Like, stop.
Yes.
It's not that hard.
And for the love of everything, maybe we should start having the book writers play a part in this, because clearly you're not
Please.
using your book writers who actually know how to
Please.
write.
The books are so. I just finished a High Republic book. The books are so good. I don't know why you're not.
They know how to write Star Wars.
Yes.
Please, you already hired them. You're already paying them.
Yes.
You might as well just put them to work in that.
And the books have so much diversity. They have aliens, they have black people, they have gay people, they have different force cultures. They have so much diversity in the books, but it all feels organic. It doesn't feel forced, pun intended, of them just shoehorning in because of a political agenda or because they wanna say something. Like it, the characters just. We watched the Gen V, the spin-off of the boys show earlier, and we were like, how did this show that's so raunchy and off the wall and violent do the best personification of a transgender character where that I can't I forgot their name.
Yeah,
but they were talking to their dad because I guess they were born as a son, but they could transform as a woman. They're like, you're the one who saw me different, where I'm just a kid who liked to play the PlayStation and be in the. I'm like, thank you. You're not even like, I'm they them. You're like, no, I'm just a kid who like this stuff. I just happen to be they them.
Because they just write good.
They just write a good character.
It just so happened the character was trans.
Correct. And I'm like, that's brilliant. That's how you make it organic.
Listen, all that matters, you write organic, and then your characters will be organic.
Correct. It's
but
like
the problem is they did not write organically, so most of these characters are not organic feeling.
No.
And so we have no attachments to them whatsoever.
We had all the attachments to everyone in Gen V because they all had personality and
for better or for worse.
For better or for worse. You were attached to them in some which way. Do that for the Star Wars characters, and your show is going to be so. Because, like, listen, I'm already here for the lightsabers and the force wielding. Like, you already got me with that, but like, really hook me with the characters that I care about. I gotta care about what happens to them, because right now I don't care about what happens to none of these people.
Please tell us more about those moms. I really want to know.
The witches?
Yeah, the mom witches.
Please.
I really want to know how they got in the situation and how they were able to do that and everything. Tell us a little bit more about them in the past, please.
Yes, because I actually did like Mother Onisea. I loved her. Like, everything she was giving off, but she was put in such a small window and then she just died. I'm like, well, damn. I mean, I just kind of was starting to like her a little bit, and you just killed her off, and I don't know why. I don't know why.
I don't want their only purpose is just so that they had twins.
Right.
Because
that's lame. That's lame.
You're telling me their only purpose was just to bear children?
Mm-hmm.
Like, no.
And then die to have the motivation for both May and Osha.
I want to see more than that. I want to see something.
And we have to, because like the trailers show the Wookiee Jedi and them doing shit. So I'm assuming we'll see more flashbacks. But again, like, when and why will you even show these Well, I guess because Sol did mention this episode, when they get back of getting May, he'll tell her everything.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna assume that they're all dying except for him, Osha, and maybe his Padawan. And then when they get back, he starts to tell the story, and then we see the Jedi point of view of what happened to the witches and the Jedi. So that's probably the gateway to how we're gonna see the backstory for those guys.
They better do that good.
So this is episode 4. Episode 5 had to be a banger because it ends like that. I need to see some.
Come on.
I need to see that.
This better be cooking with gas right now.
You literally set yourself up where you cannot fail. So episode 5, literally, if it's not a banger, I don't know how you drop that ball, because
you have it in your hand.
You have it in your hand.
Don't drop it.
So keep on carrying it. This episode, let me rate episode 3 first. Episode 3, this is the lowest I've ever rated a Star Wars show or anything in my life. I give it a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, like a 4.
Okay, yep. That's both our lowest rating.
Yeah, it's like a 4.
Damn, our cameraman gave it a 3 out of 10. That's for episode 3, yeah. So so 3, 4, and 5.
4 for D4. You feel me?
4 for D4, and then this episode. Probably a 6.5 out of 10. Cameraman gives it a 5 out of 10.
It's it's a between. It's like a 6.
A 6?
It's a 6.
Okay, so Cameraman's 5, D4 6, and me 6.5.
I like our ratings are usually yours is the highest. His is like lower, and I'm in the
middle. Right. And you see
that really shows like the dynamic. It's like the most. The true Star Wars obsessed fan and
Listen, we're all obsessed, but I'm a little more forgiving than you guys.
Yeah, you're like the
I'm like the parent in episode 3 when she's like, "No, they can't have ice cream. They broke the rules." I'm like, "Let my sweet babies have the ice cream." That's me.
You're like your grandma for Star Wars. Like this is your little grandbaby,
right? They could do almost nothing wrong.
Like this is like my child. And that's. Star Wars is like the brother or sister.
Yeah, he's like, you better hope or I'm not watching your head. You're trash. Like that's just how it is, and that just shows you how much I love Star Wars. Because if I was like a regular fan, like these are part, like even Star Wars 3, I would not argue he's a big Star Wars fan. He rated episode 3 a 0 out of 10.
Okay, I wouldn't go that far.
I wouldn't go that far.
That's a little ridiculous.
He was just straight hating.
Yeah.
But I was like, 0 out of 10 is really low. But I'm like, that just shows you how much I love, because it could have been lower, but I love Star Wars so much. And like, it still puts me in this world. Star Wars is my happy place. That like, even The Last Jedi, I give that shit a 7 out of 10 because I take the moments that are fantastic and I run with it and forget about Hoop is like the sun.
Oh my God. 10 out of 10. Good quote.
So like, that's just how I am with Star Wars. So I want to hear you guys' opinion about episode 3 and 4. What did you rate those two episodes? Do you like it?
Do you hate it? Did you unsubscribe from Disney Plus because
of this? Because I think is a little extreme. Because even if you don't like Star Wars, Disney Plus got tons of other stuff. They just added Hulu.
You got National Geographic.
Yeah, you got National Geographic. Don't unsubscribe to Disney Plus just because you hate Star Wars. But let me know if you unsubscribe to Disney Plus in the comments below. What did you rate these 2 episodes? You let us know. Are you digging the Acolyte, or are you absolutely hating it because the internet seems to be in another civil war on Star Wars yet again because of the Acolyte? So you guys let us know in the comments below. And as always, like and subscribe to the D4 channel for all your Star Wars entertainment needs.
We have a Spotify.
We do have a Spotify. That will be in the link below. So if you don't want to see our pretty faces on YouTube, you can hear our pretty voices on only Spotify. Or hell, you could just do that on YouTube. You can put us in the background, just listen to us. You don't have to watch us. Do whatever you like. Do whatever you like. But please like and subscribe and click the bell. And please, not only do that, share our video for people who like Star Wars and want to hear the different opinions of us two on the internet. Because I'm
just some random droids, you know.
We're just some random droids. I know you guys listen to Star Wars Theory. I know you guys listen to Star Wars Explained. I know you guys listen to all the Force Center, all the Star Wars channels out here. But we have a slightly different take on all those guys. So if you want to hear a little different take on the internet, and also again, we interact with you guys in the comments.
If you leave an interesting or a nice comment, we will talk. We will, talk about it. Yep. Shout you out in next episode.
Next episode, yeah. Correct. And any of you, we won't shout you off if you do a bad comment, but we will reply to that bad comment
in the comments.
In the comment, we won't give you any time of day on the actual channel, but we will actually comment back to you guys. So light or dark side, please comment. It helps us with the algorithm on this thing we call YouTube. Yeah. So please do us that solid. But without further ado, D4, please. Don't make twins out of thin air.
Don't do it. Or have a good explanation for it. May the Force be with you guys, and please be civil. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.